Welcome back everybody, Nate here, and in today's video I want to talk about moving forward and financing the holiday. So let's get straight to it. Number one is taking action. So taking action means taking a small step moving forward. So going through the motion of booking the holiday by putting a deposit down, small, high, whichever the case may be. It depends on your financial situation. Making that first step will make the experience actually happen. So once you've decided you're going to put X amount of money for the deposit, you can then move backwards and say, right, these are the small steps you have to make happen so that you can fund this holiday from A to B. So it can either be a case of you put £500 down and then you've got 6 months to make sure that number is divided, that discrepancy is divided by X amount of months. Once you've made that commitment, you will go through the motion, and it will get easier to make that happen. Number two is buying the currency early on. So this could be any time really, a few months before the holiday ideally. So you have X amount of money you want to take on holiday, you have the money put aside, or if you're taking cash, get the currency in early. Now I know it's about time in the market and when should I buy it, depending on what's going on in wherever you're going to, but the sooner you go through that motion of getting the money ready, it's one less thing to worry about, it's less stress, you've got the mental capacity and clarity to do other endeavours that you need to do before the holiday, and most important, it's less financially restrictive, because if you've got X money you didn't plan for, but you have the money sorted, that's one step closer to where you need to get to, and making sure that it's a stress-free holiday and you can enjoy the motion of going through it. Point three is high interest accounts. So it depends on how you want to finance a holiday. In terms of paying for it, you might want to do it monthly or all in one, but if you are going to do it on a step-by-step process of paying each month, then even if you have the money funding the holiday, put the money in a high interest savings account that's easily accessible. You can get paid monthly, and you have more flexibility in that respect, because you can withdraw the money when you need it, and the money's going to compound the interest. So you can use that interest for activities, you can use it for paying off the holiday, you can pay it for insurance. So it could be any purpose for that holiday that needs to be accounted for. It's in a high interest savings account. You can take the money out anytime. But what I encourage everyone to do is making sure that's with unlimited withdrawals, but make sure you do your research prior. And then following on from my last point is the actual research. So there's a certain place you want to go, and there's activities. How much those activities are going to cost you? What's the transportation saying? How you then getting A to B for the transfers, for the hotel? All these costs need to be calculated prior you going, so that you're not forking out unnecessarily. So when I went on my trips, I knew I was going in an Uber, and I knew approximately it's going to cost from this range to this range, depending on the time frames. So I'm going between 4 to 7 in Miami. I know it's going to be 25% more likely higher than it is off peak, because of the supply and demand. So I was able to budget for that accordingly. Or if I'm going to XYZ, I try to know, right, this is how much this is going to cost, and this is how much this is going to cost, and then overall that compound interest in terms of how much I'm taking is all collective. And then I've also got money for emergencies and stuff like that. Also, on a few other notes is making sure you take emergency backups. So credit cards, for example. Now, I'm not trying to sell you a credit card, this is just based on your financial situation, but making sure you have a backup card just in case. So if you don't want to be in a situation where you're restricted. Some places might not take cash, some places might not take credit card, but you always have that flexibility. So when I went my first time, my current account got blocked there and then, so thankfully I had a credit card to get me out of that situation. Another point I want to make is air miles. So once you've made up your mind where you're going, always suggest if you have enough air miles to cover the cost of the flights, and then use that. You've got 2 years use as air miles from the time of purchase. So I don't know, if you've done 5,000 on the Amex and you've got £50 worth of points, you have 2 years from that point onwards to use those points before they get expired. Now, you don't have to use this, but it's another way of funding the holiday. So these are just my suggestions. This is what I've done. This is how I do it. It all comes from practice and learning and evolving, and it's really helped me out, especially with the emergency card, making sure I do my research prior, making sure I have the currency done way in advance. With the currency, yes, okay, you might get a better exchange rate at different times, but when is the best time? The sooner you get it done, the better. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you think, and I'll speak to you soon.